Nowadays, your phone might know you're pregnant before you tell your family. A grocery store actually predicted one woman's pregnancy from her shopping habits and mailed her baby coupons before she'd told anyone. That wasn't a glitch. That was the system working exactly as designed. And here's how. Every search you run, every photo you take, every "Hey Alexa" you say, and every route you drive is being quietly assembled into something researchers call a digital twin. A behavioral portrait of you, built without your knowledge or meaningful consent. It can predict your decisions better than people who've known you for years. Not just what you do, but how you do it. When you wake up, how fast you type, what you almost bought but didn't, which headline made you stop scrolling. Here's what most privacy videos won't tell you. You already have access to tools powerful enough to audit your own vulnerabilities, explain exactly what's at risk, and walk you through fixing it step by step on your specific devices. Those tools are Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini. And today, Angela and I are going to show you precisely how to use them to take your privacy back, if you really want to. Let's get into it. By the way, if you're over 60 and you've ever searched for a health symptom at 2 a.m., congratulations. You are an absolutely magnificent data source. We'll get to that too. The first thing we did was open Claude and ask it a direct question. Explain what a digital twin is in plain English. Tell us which data types are most revealing, and assess whether AI assistants are actually always listening. No technical jargon. Just tell us what we need to know as thoughtful adults. What came back was genuinely eye-opening. Not everything your devices collect is sinister. When you ask Alexa to set a reminder, a legitimate assistant processes that request and moves on. That's the deal you signed up for. What crosses the line is when that same voice clip gets stored, reviewed by contractors, linked to your purchasing profile, and used to serve you targeted ads. Same technology, very different intent. Most privacy policies quietly permit the second thing, while you're thinking you only agreed to the first. When we asked Claude which data types matter most, the answer was specific. Location history is the most revealing by a significant margin. It shows who you visit, which doctor you see, where you worship, and your daily routine. Messages and search history expose your anxieties and relationships. Family photos run through photo recognition map your entire social network without those people ever consenting. And your contacts list is the one most people overlook. Even if you're careful, your less careful friend hands your relationship data to these systems without thinking twice. And if you're anything like us, you have at least one friend who still forwards chain emails. That person has already introduced you to approximately 40 data brokers. You're welcome. On the always listening question, the AI gave us a balanced answer. Wake word detection runs continuously and does misfire, capturing fragments of private conversation. Amazon, Google, and Apple have all acknowledged this. But continuous audio streaming, not really happening. The battery drain alone would give it away. The more accurate worry is subtler. Your behavioral patterns and app usage are being collected continuously. And those are frankly more revealing than raw audio anyway. Which honestly is a little insulting. They don't even need to listen to us. They already figured us out. The point is, we didn't have to research any of this ourselves. We asked. The AI answered clearly, specifically, and honestly, including the parts that were uncertain. At the end of this video, we'll show you how to ask AI for your own personalized checklist. Stay with us. And quick pause. If you're finding this useful, hit the like button right now. It tells YouTube's algorithms what you actually want to see more of, which works in your favor as much as ours. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below. We read everyone. Now, let's show you how to use AI to actually fix things. Here's where it gets more practical. We went back to Claude and said, I use a Samsung Android, an Alexa smart speaker, a Dell PC with Windows 11, and Chrome as my browser. Walk me through 5 specific privacy actions, one at a time, with exact steps I can follow right now. And you can do the same thing. Open Claude, GPT, or Gemini, tell it exactly what devices you use, and ask for the same. It'll give you steps tailored to your specific setup, not generic advice written for an imaginary average person. And here's a summary of what it walked us through. First, location permissions. Now, fair warning, when you see which apps have been tracking your location around the clock, your reaction is going to be somewhere between mildly annoyed and genuinely offended. A flashlight app, people? It's supposed to show you the way, not tell everyone where you go. But I digress. On Android, open Settings, tab Location, then App Permissions. Work through every app with always-on access. Shopping apps, social media, flashlight apps. All go to only while using or denied entirely. Turn off Google Location History. Repeat that on your tablet and your PC. Second, microphone and camera permissions. Go to Settings, Privacy Permissions Manager on Android. Keep access for your phone app, WhatsApp, and video calling tools. You can remove it from everything else. Repeat on every device. The Alexa mute button physically disconnects the microphone, by the way. You can use that during private conversations. We do. Now, third, a separate email for retail and loyalty accounts. Create a new Gmail account with a username that reveals nothing about you. And every store, every loyalty card, every retail website gets this address from now on. Angela and I have loyalty cards for stores we haven't visited in 6 years or longer. For a stronger solution, ask your AI tool about simple login. It creates a unique disposable address per retailer and tells you exactly who sold your data when spam arrives. Fourth, and this is the step where most people lean back in their chair and go quiet for a moment. Go to myactivity.google.com and sign in. Look at what's actually stored there. Reading through your own search history is a little like finding a diary you didn't know you were keeping. Except Google kept it for you. Isn't that real thoughtful of them? Go to myaccount.google.com/data and privacy, all with dashes. And turn off web and app activity, location history, and YouTube history. Set auto-delete to 3 months or something like that. And delete what's already there. Turn off ad personalization. Breathe again. Fifth, your search habits going forward. 6 months of searches describe you more accurately than most people in your life could. Ask your AI tool to explain the difference between Google, DuckDuckGo, and Brave Search, and which makes sense for your situation. For most people, the answer is switching Google's default search engine to DuckDuckGo in under 30 seconds. Also, turn off History Sync in Chrome settings while keeping passwords and bookmarks on. At this point, we should also mention incognito mode. It's a safer than normal mode because Chrome does not save that on your device. You could actually be doing this entire exercise on incognito. It's useful for that, but no more. Knowledge is power, right? Every one of these steps came directly from a conversation with Claude. If you get stuck on any of them, go back and ask. Tell it exactly where you're confused. It will adjust and try again. This is where AI really earns its place in this process. Instead of generic advice, we gave Claude our specific setup and asked for an honest audit. Android phone, Alexa, regular Amazon shopper, Gmail and Outlook, WhatsApp daily, multiple devices. We asked, rank my top 3 vulnerabilities and give me one concrete action for each that I can complete today. You can do exactly this. The more specific you are about your devices, apps, and habits, the more useful the response. Here's what it identified for our setup. The Amazon-Alexa combination was the most serious. Amazon is a surveillance infrastructure that happens to sell products. Voice history and purchase history feed each other. The action? Go to amazon.com/ Alexa privacy settings, delete your voice history, and turn off the options allowing Amazon to use your recordings for AI training. I'll be honest, when Angela and I pulled up our own Alexa voice history, we sat there listening to ourselves ask about the weather in Yuma for what felt like forever, like we had a weather fetish or something. Delete it, all of it. Second was retail loyalty accounts. Each retailer builds a profile. Brokers combine them, and grocery data alone can reveal health conditions and household composition. The action? Update those accounts to the new shopping email immediately. The third vulnerability was WhatsApp. Messages are encrypted. Metadata isn't. The action? Go to WhatsApp settings, privacy, and tighten what's visible to whom. Turn off link previews under advanced. 3 vulnerabilities, 3 actions, specific to our actual situation. That's what you get when you stop asking search engines and start having a conversation with an AI tool. But here's something most people don't think to do. After we implemented everything, we went back to Claude and asked, what are the unintended consequences of all of this? What are we losing? And what new risks are we creating? This is where AI genuinely shines, as a thinking partner rather than just an instruction manual. It gave us the honest answer that most privacy guides skip entirely. Search quality drops when you leave Google. DuckDuckGo is good, it's not Google. Complex research questions will occasionally set you back manually. Google itself becomes less useful by design. Maps stops remembering your home. YouTube stops remembering things you'd enjoy. And Assistant gets less capable. Those features exist because of the data collection. You can't have one without the other. The separate shopping email is a new account to secure. If it gets compromised and linked to a dozen retail accounts, an attacker can reset passwords across all of them. And deleting your Google history is permanent. If you ever needed it for a legal dispute or a personal reference, it's gone. Most importantly, AI told us this clearly. Everything you have done reduces exposure at the edges. It does not touch the infrastructure layer underneath. Your internet provider, Windows telemetry, and data brokers holding years of historical files are largely unaffected. What you've built is a reasonable defensive perimeter. Don't mistake better for solved. But better is genuinely worth doing. And knowing the trade-offs, honestly, is the difference between an informed decision and a false sense of security. And that's a wrap on your digital privacy foundation. Here's what we want you to take away from this video. Not just the 5 steps, not just the 3 vulnerabilities. The bigger idea is that you now have access to AI tools sophisticated enough to serve you as your personal privacy advisor, your step-by-step technical guide, and your honest devil's advocate, all in the same conversation. Open Claude, GPT, or Gemini tonight. Tell it your specific devices and habits. Ask it to audit your vulnerabilities and walk you through fixing them one at a time. That single conversation could do more for your privacy than anything else you'll do this year. If this video was useful, please hit the like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we put out practical, no-nonsense AI content every week specifically for people like us who didn't grow up with this stuff, but refuse to be left behind by it. And drop a comment below. Tell us which step surprised you the most, or what you asked your AI tool and what it said. Angela and I read every comment and answer as many as we can. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.